What is up, guys? Today we are going to be doing a quick, we're kind of overdue for this. I actually don't think this has ever been done on this car. Yeah, you might be right. A lot of the maintenance on this car, you know, but like a lot of the stuff on this car has lasted a very long time, to be honest. So we have yet to do on this car front pads and rotors. The car has 165,000 miles on it. It is a 2010 G37 X sedan.
Very important.
Very important to designate. If you guys are wondering what color this is, this was anodized red.
Did we gold it first? I think we did.
We did gold this one first.
Yeah.
On the backs, I had just laid down the anodized red on the metal, and we learned actually during that experience that you need a base coat for this. They actually do sell a base coat for the metal cast. We know that now.
That's why we have MGP caliper covers. Yeah,
so we have these caliper covers. If you guys are wondering, they're very good at keeping dust off wheels.
Like actually really good at it.
If you take a look, these are the wheels. Normally these things would be coated in like a brown, but the only reason they're dirty right now is because it's been pouring rain in LA, as you guys probably know. LA and SoCal in general. So yeah, so step one, get your wheels off. Someone had commented on something recently that a lot of mechanic videos on YouTube are not very beginner friendly. So if you want to know how you get your wheels off, I guess you just take a deep socket 19 on your tuner lug nuts and twist off the lug nuts.
I don't think that's very helpful. I think the real answer is you get a jack, you look up your factory jack points.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I guess let's talk about that on a G37, I guess. From the front, you're really gonna have to hit these jack points right here, because you can't really get under the front subframe, even from the very front of the car, like you can on a 350Z. So there's your jack point right there. That's what it looks like.
This is also, so you guys know, this is a tie-down point that they would use to transport the car.
Yes.
It is fine to use this particular port on this particular car as a jack point.
Yep.
Because it is thick, double-walled, metal, good stuff.
Yes. So you would use that as a jack point. Then you've got your frame rails right here. This runs the span of the car. That's where I would put a jack stand anywhere under here. Actually,
to preface that, I would try to not put it in the middle.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't put it in the middle, because then your car can tip forward or back.
Yeah, get it, you know, as close to the side that you want to lift as possible.
Yeah.
You know?
The reason why I put it so far back here as opposed to right here was because we had to clear the jack, and you can see it on the other side as well.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect spot, honestly. That's fine.
So that's where we're at. Now, let's get to the caliper, which we have here. We have a 2-piston front caliper on these, which is pretty cool.
I don't know if this is specific, because this isn't like, there's not an X Sport, is there?
So the XS, they have an XS,
which this
but this is not.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the XS does not come with Akabonos.
Interesting.
The regular S comes with Akabonos, but the XS does not come with Akabonos, even though you can put Akabonos on an X.
Well, you put them on any, you know,
on any G37.
That didn't come with them.
Which is, yeah, it's just so interesting to me. This is a very common complaint that XS owners have. They're like, I would have been willing to pay for the Akabonos, but they just didn't offer it as an option.
I'm actually really surprised they didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Did the S sedan come with it?
The S sedan came with Akabonos.
Okay.
So everything, so every G37S came with Akabonos.
Just not the XS.
But the XS Coupe and XS Sedan did not come with Akabonos.
They have an all-wheel drive coupe?
Yeah.
I was unaware.
Yeah.
So, for the record, we have these nice little MGP caliper covers.
So these are what keep the brakes clean. So we pop those off.
Yep, real quick.
With the bracketries.
To get access to this.
Yep.
This car does come with 2-piston front calipers and 1-piston rear calipers.
Yep.
Which, you know, honestly, that's an upgrade over like 95% of cars on the road as it is.
Yeah, it's identical to NSX stock calipers,
Yeah, stock.
300ZX, right?
No, the 300ZX has 4 piston fronts and 2
Oh,
piston
okay.
rears. Yeah. But, you know, the original NSX came with 2 piston fronts and single piston rears. For an automatic all-wheel drive sedan, realistically, more than enough.
Yeah.
Honestly. You're not tracking it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, to get these guys off, first thing you want to do is take out these 2 bolts. One is disgusting, one is less disgusting. I'll hold this one. So these guys go on in here. You just want to remove those. If you go to loosen these and you see that this is spinning, you'll want to get a wrench over here to hold this side while you loosen this side. I did not have to, probably because we painted them, honestly. That usually helps us kind of
seal together.
Stick in place a little bit, you know. Once you have those 2 out, you are going to grab and just kind of wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yes. Until, there we go. That's disgusting.
Yeah, look at those rusty ass piston. Wow. Wow.
Now, a quick thing to note, you do not want to hang your caliper by the brake line. This stretching out is bad. Don't do it. You can see, you can flip it over and just kind of like get it up here real quick. Yeah, those are disgusting, dude. They're kind of chunky and gross.
That's like,
I can't even like pull those out actually.
it's horribly terrible.
Yeah, this car did spend a couple years in the snow.
And it's amazing how much rust it can develop for a couple years.
Well, you know, to be fair, it's kind of sealed, kind of not sealed, you know what I mean? So when like, liquids will get in there, they don't really have a good place to escape. Not that there really should be liquids in there, but...
But it doesn't look like the calipers are leaking, right?
No. If you want to check that, you can look around the boots here. These are the actual boots, and you need to make sure that these are not leaking.
Boots look pretty good.
You would see leaking, it'd be very wet. These do not look wet, so yeah. We're gonna set that there. Don't stretch this out. And then we're just gonna get in here, grab, and out. These pads had a good amount of life left, but these rotors are done. So
yeah, the rotors are ridgy.
Yeah, for the record, I do have a tool to measure run out, but you can easily see that this is, I don't know if you want to get like a good side type of thing.
Let's see if we can see it.
But these are definitely done, and you said you were getting some.
They were ringy.
You're getting some shaking in the steering wheel too?
Yeah, I was getting a little bit of shaking under
heavy braking.
Moderate to heavy braking, yeah.
Yeah, so when that type of thing happens, typically it's your rotors being warped.
It could be your wheels are bent, but we isolated that because I had just gotten these wheels and we know that those are brand new.
Yeah.
And we know that the tires were balanced properly and the tires are brand new as well.
Yeah.
So we isolated the wheels out of the equation. We know it's the brakes.
Yeah, pretty much. You can turn rotors as long as the rotors are within spec, and you need to measure the actual thickness of the material. However, rotors these days are so cheap. Like, how much were your rotors that we bought for this?
100 and they were so cheap. I would think the pair was like 135 for some centric blanks.
Yeah, and if you know,
it was like 150 shipped.
Yeah, that's really, honestly, for rotors, it's cheap.
And yeah, they're centric.
Well,
you know?
And like, you know, at the end of the day, if you're doing this job and you take these off and take them to a shop to get turned,
it's going to cost the same amount of money to have them resurfaced.
Well, they charge like 20 bucks, I think, to resurface them. But also you have to take them off your car, leave the place you're doing the work.
Oh yeah, I was talking about you go somewhere and have them like take the car drop it off, have them resurface
I mean,
the rotors.
if you're at this point and you're doing the job yourself, if you take them to like an O'Reilly's to turn them, they only charge you like 20 bucks, I think, to turn them. But like I said, you have to be here, take it apart, transport the rotors.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well just get new rotors.
Honestly, they're so cheap, it's just worth getting new rotors.
Yeah.
You can really feel some grooves in that.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Rings of Saturn.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, get your caliper off, get your pads out, get this back pad out of there. Oh, and since we're doing some new stuff, if y'all don't know, this right here is your wear sensor. If you're hearing your brakes squeal around and make noise, it's because this is worn to the point where this is doing that. So
we weren't quite there yet, right?
No, we weren't. I mean, you can see.
But we were close.
You are
we
wearing.
were close on the back.
You are wearing a little uneven, and that's typically the cause of slide pins. Which, let's see if we can get one of these guys out. There we go. So these are your slide pins. This is where these bolts go into, right here. These slide pins do need to be greased, so we will do that. We will clean these off. grease them and then shove them back into here on both sides, so that way he gets some even wear going.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're gonna get these apart. The next thing to do, caliper bracket. There's 2 bolts. I think they're like 22s on this. They're pretty big. I want to see if we can get in there. Yeah, they are somewhere in there. You know.
I think I saw it.
Probably right here somewhere. I can't see because I'm not looking back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna get this all out of here. And once we remove this, you can already see.
Yeah, it's the rotor just slides right off.
If it doesn't, just so you guys know, because sometimes, you know, you live in places where they won't just slide off. This hole right here is threaded for an M12 or what is it, 6 or no 8?
Looks like an M8.
M8 by I want to say like 1.25. If you have
probably 1.25 if it's Nissan.
Yeah, if you have some
realistically
bolts sitting around, which if you work on cars you probably do, you'll just find a couple that fit and you can twist it in here and then use a ratchet to tighten it, and it will put pressure on the hub and then slip this forward.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do that here, they're already loose, but if you do, that's how you do it.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna find out what size this is, get some grease. I'm gonna clean my hands.
Yep.
We'll be back.
Yes, indeed.
Update, it's nap time.
Nap time.
Night, y'all.
Just leave it.
That's it, we're done.
Yep.
Anyhoozles, so caliper bracket's off, caliper's still up here, brake rotor's off. That thing weighs a ton.
Yeah.
Like it actually does on this thing.
They're heavy.
So I can't find my cheap caliper spreader. I don't know where it is. I guess I gotta buy another one. So I could use my fancy one on this car that's really not that deserving.
Hey. You know what?
What? Huh,
it deserves it.
Does it?
Yes.
Since when?
Since now.
Okay, so anyways, you can see here we have the piston spreader tool, and this one is meant for 4-piston, 2-piston, bigger calipers. On this particular type of just pistons on one side, you can use the kind of cheapy $7-8 one. All you would do is place the backing plate in here, put a caliper, one of the brake pads right here, and then just, it has a big crank on it, you'll just twist it, probably offset it into one of these holes. Just twist it until the pistons go back in. You do want these to go back in at the same time if you can. There are plenty of people who have also used just like a big set of pliers to like grip them in. We've done that in the past.
Yes, we have. And it's not easy.
You're right, it's not easy. Also, you run the risk of damaging the seal.
Yes.
Try not to if you can really avoid it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just gonna kind of like crank these in, and you can see the pistons will just go back in their little homes. Yeah, it's a lot easier when this is actually like bolted to something. Then they like, I'll bend your brake shield.
Hey.
What's up?
Stop messing up my car with your fancy tools.
I don't mess up your car. And I won't say anything else.
Yeah. I know where you're going with it though. You know where the candle store is? Where did that come from?
I love how they're just so like they drove down a ramp and like it was just a drop and they're just like, oh
what
wow.
What happened? Where did that come? They were the most calm reaction to an accident I've ever seen in my life.
If you drove your car down a ramp like that,
they were damn near upside down.
You know? Okay, so that's tight, which means these lovely pistons are all the way back in. We're gonna loosen this up, get this on out of here. Get it ready for the other side.
You see how that the pistons are seated properly.
There we go. For the other side. So yeah, pistons are back in. Something for you guys to note, especially if you're new to this, if your brake master cylinder is low, it's typically the case that your brakes are low because it's supposed to be a sealed system. You're not supposed to have leaks from anywhere. You're not supposed to have any kind of weird stuff. And when you push these pistons back in, all that space that was in here where these pistons were out were full with brake fluid.
Yep.
So all that brake fluid gets pushed back through the line all the way back up to the master cylinder. So basically if someone like ever worked on your car previously, they saw the master cylinder looked low, but really wasn't because the brakes were just worn, and filled it up with brake fluid, more than likely what will happen when you push these pistons back in is you'll get overflow from the master cylinder.
And we do not want that.
No, because brake fluid is really bad for paint and other stuff. I don't see any leaks down here from it yet. The other side, who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll probably wrap a towel around it.
Well, I don't think that we will because we did do a brake bleed on the back brakes, and I think
That's
that
true.
bought us.
We actually haven't filled it yet.
Yeah, that bought us enough space, I think, to do the pads.
Yeah, that's
we'll be
true.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so these are the pistons back in. Be careful of that. Like I said, that'll eat all your paint real quick. So yeah, pistons back in. We're gonna get our rotors, slap them on, put this guy back in place. I was right. It was a 22. These guys. These are kind of a pain, just so you all know. They just kind of suck.
Yeah.
They're not difficult, but just like you have to like hold the rotor and the caliper bracket and then like twist.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that right now.
Yeah, we're gonna throw all this back together.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
So these are the brakes that we got. The part number is from Centric 120.42080. This is just their Centric blank. As you can see that they clearly spray painted this and the edge because you've got overspray, but this will scrub right off basically as soon as I break down the street.
Well, the nice part for me is that they do it so it doesn't turn out like
that.
This disgusting thing.
Yeah.
When you get your new rotors, y'all might notice they're oily and gross.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's normal.
These ones are less so.
That's good.
But still.
The oil they apply is to make sure that these don't rust in transit or warehouse. In transit and warehouse, whatever. You know, rust is kind of bad. You don't want those on your brakes. At least on the part that matters.
Yeah.
So, get yourself some brake clean.
Why is there oil on these?
Everything gets shipped with oil, so yeah. Everything gets shipped with oil.
Yes.
So
we'll do a wipe instead of a spray so as not to mess up the very nice black spray paint.
Oh, I'm gonna spray the brake cleaner all over this, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Hopefully the paint doesn't come up.
Fine. Just a little bit of brake clean. So anyways, give this a good rub down. Get all the stuff off. Don't mind flipping that over for me, you can see.
Yep.
There we go. Don't be shy, just use it. And there we go. Because if you happen to leave that oil on, your brakes will not function. That's kind of bad. But you can see,
Yeah.
the stuff. You don't want that on your brakes either.
Could be a problem.
So these are going to dry out. We're going to slip this over. While you're at this point, it is a good opportunity to check your wheel bearings to see if they are loose.
Yes.
If you've never had anyone tell you that they're loose when they're driving next to you. What's up, dude? How you doing? Hey man, your wheel wobbles.
FYI.
A quick way to check that. This is your wheel hub right here. There are internal bearings to this. Just grab it, and if you can kind of rock it back and forth in different directions, that's bad.
Yep.
As you can see, this is
Good.
sturdy.
Or just rusted.
Well, no, because the car rolls.
Yeah.
It's just like completely locked up. Your GTA, very like just scraping the tire along as you drive.
Yeah.
Why do I need new tires every 100 miles?
Right.
So,
All right.
yeah, we're gonna put this together. There you go, I'll hand that to you.
So these are the pads that we're using. Kind of an uneven, what do you call it? Spread as far as the performance pads versus eccentric blanks, but I didn't want to.
I wouldn't say that actually, because like blanks are really good for stopping.
They are.
Material.
But I did want to get slotted rotors. I just didn't want to wait for Z1 because they were on back order with no ETA.
Yeah, no ETA is bad. If they at least have like a
if there's an ETA, that would be one thing, but I don't want to sit and just wait and wait and wait. So these are front pads for a G37 2-piston fronts non-sport ultra low dust OE grade noise dampening system. Superior stopping power, fantastic. So we're gonna toss these on.
This set, yep, it comes with a brake squeal deals on both sides.
Squeal deals.
And I don't have anything to cut this keys. I'll use my very expensive Wells Fargo keys. These are to the Wells Fargo. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Wells Fargo.
All right, let me get this up. So, they're gonna be a pain. There. All right, so on our new pads here, you can see, you know, the difference in pad material. It's kind of remaining.
Massive.
Yeah, pretty big. But we're gonna check real quick to make sure. Yeah, they look the same. Sometimes when you order new brakes, They will come with these backing plates not already on. You have to, you can see they have some little side clips.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta like slide them on there. The other thing they sometimes come with are these metal clips right here. Since this set did not come with a set of those metal clips, we are not going to replace those. I've never seen a case where I've had to replace those.
Yeah.
Like just on their own, you know. But I don't know. They come with it sometimes, and if they do, just throw them in.
Yep.
So one other thing here, real quick, while I have you. So these holes right here are your slide pin holes, and like we talked about earlier, these are your gross slide pins. Let's get all this off here.
Oh, look at how fancy that looks without all the grease on it.
Yeah, right. So these need to be greased. When they are not greased and they don't move, because these do actually physically move with the
right.
center section of the caliper.
Hence the term slide pin.
Yes. Where's my grease? Okay, behind me. You do want to keep these nice and greased. Like I said, clean them off. This is just some wheel bearing grease. Works just as fine. Just get a fat amount on there. I'm just gonna kind of goop it in.
Goop it up, bro.
And then clean out the excess real quick. But yeah, so that way you can see these actually move very easily instead of being stuck, because like when we pulled those out, you could see
Yeah,
that they
definitely
had
some uneven pad
yeah,
work.
some stick. So yeah, this side is the top. This side is the top. So this technically will go right here, and this will go. The top side doesn't have the rubber bushing. Just so you know. Clean that off real quick. Yeah, this one's definitely like the disgusting one.
Yeah.
You know. And same thing. Some new grease on there. And I usually like to twist it through so it kind of makes sure to get the grease everywhere. And that moves a lot better than it did. Go. There we go. Everything moving nice and good. That way, when you go to brake, the brakes work, and they work evenly.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
Now we're gonna pop the rotor on.
Are we?
Yes.
That's cool.
That's cool, bro.
You can say, I'll take that.
Oh, look at that fancy little rotor.
Go ahead and get a little more, just to make sure they're nice and clean. Much better. Okay. So some companies do sell cars and or rotors and stuff with a screw on here that holds these in. You usually see an extra hole, you know, right there basically. They are not necessary. I put them back anyways, I don't really care. It takes 2 seconds to take out, it takes 2 seconds to put in.
Yep.
If you ever approached a customer, because like that's what I used to do is, you know, customers and repair and fun stuff. If you ever approached a customer and were just like, hey, here's these screws I took out of your brakes.
Yeah, they're, yeah, nope.
Do the brakes need those? I don't know, not really.
Not really.
You just, you know, kind of whatever, man, you know? You know, so it's one of those things you kind of have to approach with some tact.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have them, just throw them back in. It really doesn't matter that much. It's not gonna hurt anybody. It also won't hurt anybody when you take them out because the wheel and the brakes hold all this into position here.
Yes.
So, yeah. There you go.
All right.
Brakes done.
Now put the car down. All right. Rotor's back on. We threw the
Caliper bracket.
caliper bracket back on.
Yeah. So you can see these are nice grease slide pins back in place. All good. What I wanted to do here real quick is show you how this fits in here before I go and slather a bunch of brake grease on it. These particular clips have this top little springy guy and needs to fit into this little area of the wear sensor. The kind of easiest way to put these in, you can see how I'm kind of twisting it as it comes out. And it comes out. So when you go to put them in, you're going to just kind of push in place. See how this little tab goes in. Just kind of wiggle it until it goes in place. Okay. The thing though is we need to lubricate these brake pads. So Hawk sent us just a little bit of high temp brake grease. We're going to use this real quick. I also happen to have, and they do sell, like a container. You don't need to use these dumb little packets. I'm not fond of these. Of brake grease. Yeah. So, the main thing with this is you don't want grease, surprisingly, on the part that's going to stop your car.
Surprise, surprise.
Might be a little weird to some. Yeah, kind of how it is. So, we're just going to squeeze a little bit out. Ooh, you get red. That's very...
A little red slug.
Performance, dude.
Performance red.
Okay, so we're going to get
Very
this
performance-y red color.
all over the back plate. And then you don't need a ton of it.
It's just enough to cover everything, yeah?
What it is this part that grabs the caliper here, when this kind of moves around and shifts, it can squeal against it.
Yeah.
The other thing I like to do is get a little bit of the excess and just get it on the parts that are going to actually contact the clips. So
Yeah, because clips can squeal too.
Yes, they can.
Very much so.
I'm going to set this guy down real quick. Wipe the excess off my hand so I'm not touching your brakes with grease. Okay, and then, like I said before, we're going to lay the bottom in. Going to get it lined up. And in place. Okay? The backside on this particular setup has these same clips because the backside on this does use wear sensors on both sides. Not all cars do. Most actually use it on the inside. If you have something that only has wear sensors on like 2 pads instead of all 4, I always put it on the inside. That's just kind of like the norm.
Oh, so these do have sensors on all 4. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that these have it on all 4.
Yeah, they have them on all 4. And
It's because they're fancy.
In these in particular, some cars it doesn't matter. This in particular, the sensors are at the top. That's why this clip is here.
Yeah.
So if your little clip like this is at the bottom, you know that it's got to go this way. But this is up here, so we're going to go ahead and slot this other side in, and then we'll bring the caliper back down and start bolting it back together.
Yep.
Brake pads are in. We're going to flip this caliper down. Just so you know, on stuff like this that doesn't have that screw, which is kind of the nice part about the screw, this kind of all wants to wobble, so you kind of have to like get it together so it can hold itself while you do this part. So we're going to take our caliper, flip her around. Now I like to use the back pistons to kind of set a base here, and then just basically drag it forward until it starts to clear. Come on, you. There we go.
Nicely done.
Just like that. Once it clears, we'll go ahead and push it up into position. I know this is the top one because the top is dirty. Oops. Excuse me. And then we'll just start to thread that so it holds itself. And then, so sometimes like down here you can see how this is kind of in the way. You can just kind of maneuver this and push the side pin in until that lines back up. Get that in. And there you go. Now you just got to tighten these 2 down. Once that's done, they're kind of sorted there. That's the good stuff. Very important, when you put new brake pads in, push your brake pedal. Because you push the pistons back in, the pistons are set too far in.
Yep.
And you need to get them to remate up to the surface of the new brake pads. So before you drive your car, push your brake pedal a bunch, get that to max back out, and be in line with where it needs to be.
Yep.
So we're gonna go ahead and tighten these bolts, and then we'll get back to you when we start doing this bleedy bleed.
Yeah.
That.
All right.
So it is time to bleed. All this is back together. These bolts are tightened down to torque spec here.
Insert torque spec here, but honestly,
every car's different.
somewhere probably around 35 to 50 foot-pounds is safe.
I think like 27 is the standard for this, but like it doesn't really matter, honestly.
For 14 mil, 27 to 35 sounds about right.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If we feel like it, we'll put a little thing up that says the actual amount.
Certainly not tighter than like 50 or 60, because then you're gonna snap the bolt.
Oh yeah, you'll break the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So I like to use a set of pliers to get the bleeder off because they always work really well. Just kind of gently grab the nip knob.
Nip knob.
The nip knob. So we have this little OEM tools. It's supposed to be 1-man brake bleeder, but like
I don't even know how you would.
it's supposed to create pressure against the opening there, but I don't necessarily trust that.
Neither do I.
I'm honest. I believe this is a 10 we checked. Yep, so that's a 10. So we're gonna take, of course it's gonna be difficult. This little magnet is wonderful and also kind of annoying, you know? So basically this little guy goes inside here. Good? Great. back in. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is the dude holding the camera, what's up, dude?
Sup?
Sup? Is going to go inside the car. I'm gonna get myself covered in axle grease. My favorite.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Getting ready for later.
Yeah.
Sup?
Sup?
Sup? Anyways, he's gonna go in the car. He's gonna pump the brakes a bunch and then hold the pedal down. When he holds the pedal down, I'm going to open the valve. When I open, bleeder. When I open the bleeder, brake fluid will come out. The process, the reason you do this is to get air out of the system because that's just kind of normal.
So basically you're pumping the pedal to create pressure, then you open the valve while holding the pedal down, and you hold the pedal all the way until it hits the floor, which pushes the fluid out into the bleeder. And then from there, while the pedal is still on the floor, you want to make sure you close the valve so as not to let any air in the system, because if you let your foot off the brake, you'll suck air back in through the bleeder, which is a problem. And then from there, once the valve is closed, you pump again to build up pressure, and you rinse and repeat until you feel like you've gotten out enough crap fluid, and then replace it in the reservoir. You also want to, while you are doing your bleeding, if your reservoir is on the driver's side in the front of the bay, you want to bleed from the farthest point back first. We actually already bled the back brakes already, but you would start with your rear right on a G37 or a 350Z, because we did on a Z also. Then you would go to rear left. Then, since the reservoir is on the front driver's side, you would do the front passenger side. And then finally, the front driver's side would finish you off. If your reservoir, for some reason, was on the passenger side, you would just do, you would go opposite. So you would go rear left, rear right, front left, front right. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so, you know, that's all done. So once you get your bleed done, your brakes are done. I mean, assuming you did the other side, which we are gonna do, but we're not gonna walk you through that because
it's the same as this side.
Don't have to, it's the same thing.
And as you can tell, it's getting
dark. So,
yeah, so we're gonna work in the dark.
Yes, we are.
And I'm gonna walk some dogs actually, and this guy's gonna work.
Yep.
So
pretty straightforward on this car. Pretty much exactly the same process that we did on the 350Z. The only difference is that it's a single piston front caliper as far as the non-sport brakes are concerned.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, very straightforward.
It's pretty much the same thing for sure. Like I said, the only things you really want to pay attention to, especially if you're doing this for like the first time, something like that, pay attention to where the grease gets. Clean the...
Stand over here just in case the light is getting messed up. This might be better for you guys.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Make sure the grease goes where it's supposed to go, not where it doesn't. I helped Danny with his brakes, and he was just like touching all the pads with greasy. I'm like, dude, you gotta really like not do that.
Then you'll have issues.
Hey Bush, what's up? Bye.
And we out.
So yeah, make sure the grease goes where it's supposed to, not where it's not. Grease your slide pins. Clips can suck, but make sure they're there. And clean the oil off your rotor.
Yep.
I think that's really like the most important kind of
things. And then when you do your bleed, make sure you don't let off the pump your brakes. Make sure you don't let off the pedal until you've closed the valve.
Yep.
And go from the farthest corner away from your reservoir
to the closest.
Eventually to the closest.
And if you're doing this with a friend with bleeding and you haven't done it before, a kind of good system is he'll say pumping and then holding, which means he's holding the pedal down. I'll say opening, and then when the valve is completely closed, or he'll let me know when it goes to the floor.
Yeah, so once it hits the floor, I'll call out floor, then he'll call out closing, he'll call out closed, then I'll go pumping. So that way we're moving as fast as we can, because like,
well, not only that, but we're moving as fast as we can without accidentally sucking air back into the system and creating more problems.
Yeah.
It's good to just kind of let
come up with a good efficient system for working with a friend.
Yeah, that.
So that's gonna do it for our brakes. Let us know what you guys thought of the video in the comments down below.
We're not taking a break.
We're not taking a break. The brakes aren't taking a break either. I've got to do some work. I'm going to attempt to lubricate some sway bars. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to walk some dogs.
So let us know what you guys thought of the video in the comments down below. If you have any more maintenance requests or any video ideas for a G37 sedan, please definitely let us know, because we're doing a lot of stuff on this car. We've done a lot of stuff recently.
I think we're almost there.
We're almost completely maintained.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yep.
So let us know what you guys thought of the video in the comments down below. And if you like the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
And we appreciate you guys.
Woo!